And that's how I lost it all. I lost every single thing. Wow. Saying that out loud, the reality of the situation just hits like a stroke. It really gets to you. It's forget the smile. I'm just naturally a cheerful lawyer, but it really gets to you. And wow, this is gonna be one hell of a video to make. It's gonna be one hell of a video. Guys, before we begin, there's this book I'm reading and I'll just like to show it to you. It's called The DNA of Leadership by Judith E. Glaser. I believe I'm pronouncing that right, Glaser. The DNA of Leadership is a wonderful book for every leader out there, or every person that hopes to be a leader in the future, hopes to be every entrepreneur in the future. It's a wonderful book for everybody. Leaders and followers is a wonderful book for everybody. Funny enough, I've read this book before, but going through it again, the concepts that the book, everything just seems fresh, everything just seems new. So yeah, now, how did I lose it all? All right, this is gonna be quite very interesting, and it's a very vulnerable video for me to make. Nonetheless, I have to make this video because I would like to testify to the goodness of God in my life, where God has brought me and where God is taking me. I really believe He's in control of my life, and I really believe that He's about to do something miraculous in my life. I also like to testify to the goodness, the blessings of men, and all those who have encouraged me to this point I am in my life. And to just also encourage somebody out there that who is feeling that dejected, who perhaps may have lost everything, who perhaps believe that my future is now because I've lost such a good opportunity. I just really want to encourage you. So, how did I lose it all, and what did I lose? What did I lose? It's real simple. I lost a very promising job as a paralegal to a US-based law firm. Not just any US-based law firm. This was Rose. I'm going to call the law firm Rose because I'm not like to say the full name. I mean, I'm not going to say anything disparaging about the law firm. The only disparaging thing I'm going to say is about Upwork, because Upwork is the demon in this story. So I lost a very good opportunity, a very good job, working as a paralegal at Rose Law Firm, a supporting paralegal for Rose Law Firm, working remotely. Rose Law Firm is not just any other law firm, it's a US-based law firm, very famous, very brilliant. I think it won the top law firm in the city of Portland, in the States, in Oregon, Portland, for like 2 years in a row. It's a very wonderful place, and it's a law firm that combines law and technology. For anybody that know me, you know that for the longest, with my first venture, Mastermind Legal Technology and Consultancy, I'm always fascinated about the intersection of law and technology, because those are my passion, law and technology. So the intersection is where I'm at, and that is currently embodied by TechLex Legal Consult, which is my law firm that I'm currently running, and we are currently doing a lot of things with that, and God has been faithful. So TechLex is where it's at. Yes, so what happened? A while back, when I moved to Abuja and I started my service here, for those of you who don't know, I'm currently serving. I decided to serve my fatherland, so I'm serving under the sun, and we dedicate, yeah, you all know the song. So I'm currently serving the city of Abuja. So ever since I moved to Abuja, it's a new place, and I knew that the expenses, the transportation from where I'm at to town, the cost of fueling my vehicle and the rest is not just going to be here. So I knew that I had to do something. So every day, I was more often than not sleeping on this chair. Every day, I would wake up, say a prayer, and apply for a job opportunity. Wake up, say a prayer. It was my routine for so very long. So I'll never forget, I was one of those days I had gone to fix my car. I believe we changed like 2 tires on that day. It was a lot of money, plenty money that I didn't have. That mechanic was just calling as though I was down with it. It was like, how? Why? This tire is good enough. They were just seeing those of you You all know how mechanics are. You go for one thing and they'll see 1,000 things. And those 1,000 things will be like, if you don't fix it now, or guys, you're going on the road, your car will just explode. You will die. Everybody is So I had, after paying for what I could pay for to the glory of God, there was a Redeemed Church. There was Living Faith Church by the side, and they were having a program. And I went to that church, and they were having their communion service. Now, one of my friends is back in that side. I was thinking, oh, that is Daisy. So they were having their communion service, and I remember sitting in church that evening. It was around 7, 8, and being led to apply. Just open my phone and just check out for more opportunities and just apply. And I don't know, I'd already done my one application for the day, but this was another one. I just felt that I was just led to apply. So I opened my phone and I applied for this particular opportunity as a supporting paralegal to Rose. I just applied for it. I did and applied, and I just sat down because most of the applications I've been giving out is usually it just didn't go anywhere. Some that would seem as though it's going somewhere, you get excited, it will collapse. So at that point in time, I was just numb to it. I just applied, did my best, and I sat down. Then they got back to me and they asked that I make a video, something like how I'm making right now. I make a video talking about myself, why I want to join the company, that. And they asked me to upload the video. I've forgotten what it's called again, on one platform that I wasn't familiar with, and it had to be live. It had to be something that had to be done live. So I ran to my neighbor, which is why I say I have to thank God. I have to bless God for the blessings of God and the favor of men. I ran to my neighbor B, Treat by B. She sells a lot of wonderful clothing, and she has a ring light that she used to take. So she helped me with that ring light. I came, I set everything up, I sat down, I was making the video. Network in my area is horrible, completely horrible. The video was not working. Every time you have to make this video online, it's an online platform, so as the way I'm speaking to a camera right now, that's the way I have. It wasn't going anywhere. I was trying over and over. Did it work? It was so frustrating. It was so frustrating. Eventually, I made the video and I hit send, and I was satisfied with what I made, and I hit send. I was just like, it is what it is. Later on, I got a message that they've scheduled an interview. I was like, interview. All right. The interview, because of the time difference, Rose, like I said, is a law firm in Portland, Oregon, so there's about 6 hours time difference. So by 5, I believe that is when. So the interview was scheduled for sometime around like 8 US time, and that was gonna be like 8, 9, I believe 9 US, somewhere between 8, 9 US time. It was gonna be in the evening. So that day, I stayed in the office. I stayed back in the office. I think I was the last person in the office. I stayed, I had the interview with Adam. He's the lead partner, the brilliant innovator, the brilliant leader at Rose. And we had an interview, and the interview went fairly well. It wasn't really anything special to me, but Adam said something that I really liked. It was like, you seem like you are very highly educated. As we kept talking, it was like, you're very highly educated. I just put that in my mind. So at the very least, I was saying that if nothing comes out of this, at the very least, he called me highly educated. Then later on, I received a message. Second interview was scheduled. I remember NYC Carriers go where I don't know that time, and it was very late, and I couldn't come home because network is crap at home. I called the then AD admin, Mr. Raf, at the council. I called him and I sought his permission to rush back to the council that night and have the interview. I drove to the council. I spoke to the guards. It was a very unusual request because everybody was gone. But I rushed back. I sat down. I couldn't go. I didn't want to go to the office, so I sat down in the reception area, and I had the interview with 2 different persons right now, John and Fatima, very excellent individuals. John and Fatima, I had the interview, and they told me that I'll find out. I had the interview on Thursday. They told me I'll find out next week or so if I've gotten the job. And all right, I didn't want to tell anybody because if nothing comes out of it, I didn't want to get my hopes up. I was lying on this chair. No kidding. This is the chair I was lying. So I was lying on this chair on a Friday afternoon on a Friday afternoon. And that time I woke up, I looked at my phone and I saw an email. Congratulations. I didn't know what to feel at that point in time. I didn't feel anything, to be honest. I just stood up, took a stroll out, bought like pure water, sat down somewhere, drank pure water, read the email properly this time around. Really, really properly read the email. And then I came back to the house and continued sleeping. I woke up on Saturday and I realized I had nothing. I had the setup for a remote work. I had nothing. I just had nothing. So I had to rush. I changed my laptop battery. NEPA was throwing us shaky during that period in time. So I had to buy one of the solar powered battery stuff, plenty money. I had to go and buy a table, a chair. I had to go and get a smart box, an Airtel smart box. By the way, this Airtel smart box, Airtel 5G smart box it's the worst thing ever you can use as a remote worker. Just don't. Airtel, just don't. Just avoid Airtel 5G smart box, wherever. Just avoid that stuff. So I got it, I got everything, and I began my job at Rose Law Firm as a supporting paralegal. So we went through the training. I'm sure some of you are asking how did you lose it? I'm getting to that. So, and yes, there's a key thing I missed. I was hired through Upwork. The application I made, everything was done through Upwork. So I was going to be paid also through Upwork. So we went in, they created official email for me. They logged me into their system. It was a lot of stuff. So we started our training. After we started our training, they gave us assignment, everything. After the initial 3 weeks training period, we were onboarded and everything. I'm not going to call figures here, but they were paying me pretty well. So we were onboarded and they were paying weekly. Money we were being paid by the hour, but the entire sum would be paid, deposited in an Upwork account every week. The training period we went, I believe my first task for Rose was to put together a particular research to trying to find out culpability as to counsel's culpability in the EMIX file. So work on the EMIX file 668 something. That was the code file. They had a very unique way whereby they arranged, because Rose Law Firm, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so glad I had this opportunity, because it shows how law and technology can work together to make the job of a lawyer way easier, way less time consuming. And it showed how that can be done on an international scale. It's really so. They had a lot of systems, the way they arranged their documents, the way they arranged their legal file. They had so many systems. Those were some of the things they were training us about: firm culture, firm feeds, the document, the filing system, and they were during the training period, and they were giving us assignment and tasks and all these things. So I was to work on the EMIX case, and they gave me that research. Now, because this is a different legal system, I was initially very apprehensive about the entire thing. This is the first task I've been given to work on this case that the firm is actively pursuing. So I decided, okay, I went to John, one of the senior paralegals at Rose Law Firm. Yes, I'm not quite sure if I say this, but Rose Law Firm is a gathering of international lawyers from all around the world. Rose, in order to distinguish itself, hires lawyers from all around the world. You can't really practice I'm not quite sure if I'll say this, but I'm going to say it again. You can't really practice as a lawyer in the United States if you haven't written the bar exam in the US, in that particular state in the US. No, you can't really practice. That is one of the limitations of law. that any lawyer trying to work remotely and trying to offer his services to the global audience, this is one of the limitations you're going to face, is that for most countries, like it's the same in Nigeria, you can't really practice law unless you'll be called to bar in that particular country. So unlike with other tech-based skills, working as a virtual assistant, working as a 3D graphic designer, working where you can just try, your skills is easily transferable to wherever region, and you can't really, there's a lot of legal barriers. So Rose Law Firm hires lawyers from all across the globe to act as paralegals, supporting paralegals, start as supporting paralegal before you move up the rank, to act as supporting paralegals to their US-based law team in order to distinguish themselves by bringing in talent from all across the world to offer to their clients effective and efficient services with integrity. It's a very, very wonderful system. So that's what Rose does. So I went to meet John. I asked John, how does Rose like their documents? How do they like their research being done? Is there any particular format? He said, okay, this is the format they use, that. And I went and I did the research. I remember how very, very anxious I was, and how frustrated I kind of was with, because I really couldn't tell whether I read quite a number of articles. There was a deadline. I read quite a number of articles on the subject, on the legal principles. I studied some of the case law, the way their cases in the US is being cited. Their citation is different from different states, so I had to learn that. We're working in Portland, Oregon here, so Portland, Oregon's citation, they always been cited at the Supreme Court, the relevant cases. I read quite a number of articles. I went into LexisNexis. I did. I finally put together. I had the first draft. The first draft was good enough. The second draft, it was the third draft I eventually just submitted. And when I submitted the third draft, Adam, the lead partner, the CEO, the very, very innovative visionary of Rose Law Firm, reached out to me personally. Was like, yes, this is all right, I should put together that. He asked me to make a document, to make an intro, to just make an outline as to what role technology played in the research that I put forward. And I did that, and he said, oh, this was brilliant, I should He was just asking me to do a lot of things, and I assumed this was the same thing everybody was being asked to do. I just assumed that this is the way of things. Next thing, I was asked to put together a firm-wide disclosure document, on a firm-wide policy document on technology use, on AI and technology use for the law firm. And I was to present it. Now, remember, Rose Law Firm is a gathering of lawyers from all across the world. The lawyers from Ghana, US. I was to put together a firm-wide policy document that was to become the gold standard going forward on AI, on technology and AI disclosure use, and technology, AI use and disclosure. I was to put together that document, and I was to present it before the entire law firm. And I'd been at the firm less than a month. So they asked me to put together a document to present to everybody. That was another. I was like, which kind of work is this? This is not what I put together the document. I sent it out. Before I sent it out, I sent it to John. I sent it to like some more of my colleagues. Hey, can you guys give me input? As we're bringing input, I was adding, and just formulating it. Later on, I heard that they were going to have I received a message from Adam again, and he said there's going to be a mail from Adam. There was going to be a meeting, a Zoom link for a Zoom invite meeting, and it was a meeting. And I'm not going to go into details, but during that meeting, I learned that this firm spends hundreds of thousands of dollars every month in expenses. And the overall goal of that meeting was what clients are on the books right now that the firm could be getting more work from in order to better be able to cover their expenses. And I was the only new hire on that meeting. I was the only guy. As everybody that was hired in my set, I was the only one. There was Anthony, seasoned US lawyers in that meeting that had been on the firm for a large number of years. I was about to call her name. They were just there. I was the only one there. And I kept wondering, what am I doing there? How did these people? Adam said because he wanted to hear my thoughts on how I can contribute. How do you? I have been at this firm less than a month. Now you're calling money that I've never seen in my life, and you're asking me to contribute. How am I going to? I could. And worst again, the network. Once more, Airtel 5G smart box. Don't never buy. That network was kicking me out of that meeting. I got kicked out like 10 times. 10 times from that meeting. I was almost every time I connecting. It was kept consistently kicking me out. Anyway, I eventually, after the meeting, Adam reached out to me, and Adam informed me that I would not be part of the team, which is understandable. I had nothing to contribute. The finances and what everybody was talking about, at that point in time, I wasn't ready to take on that role because I had no idea how the firm made their money. I learned a lot of things from that meeting though, and I'm glad I was to be part of. Adam said no, I'll be moved on to other responsibilities, but I won't be. They were supposed to put together a team, a finance team but they said I won't be a member of that team, and I totally understand that it would be weird if I was. I mean, very, very weird if I was a member of that team. So I was moved out. Funny enough, before that meeting started, I was the first. After that first research back, I kept noticing that they kept giving me legal research assignments back to back, and it was with tight deadlines. There was even one time they gave me a legal research assignment that I know, because it was a mail that was sent out to a bunch of people, I know was given to another lawyer from, I think it was Pakistan also. I know because I saw it. I know that this research was, they gave me her work to do, and we had a week to do that legal research. I did mine and submitted. They gave me her work like 24 hours to the deadline. Which 12 hours to the deadline, and I was to do it. I was to put together. I know they gave it to her. I kept wondering why. Anyway, I kept wondering why they kept giving me legal research. I found out the reason why at that meeting. At that meeting, because I was one of the first to log in to join the Zoom meeting. The second person to enter the meeting was another lawyer, was a very, very seasoned lawyer from the United States, a lady, and she joined in. And the first thing she just saw me, she was like, it's Wange. I read your research assignment, the work you did on the Emix file, and I'm very, very impressed. Really. She's impressed with she just kept saying glowing things. She said something that really, really stuck with me. She said, lawyers in the US, many lawyers in the US think they can write, they think they can draft after law school. They think they can write, they think they can draft until they read a particular. She asked me if I knew a particular man or if I've read a particular his works. I said no. She said lawyers in the US think after law school, they think they can draft, they think they can write until they read this man's work. And then they realize that they can't do shit. They realize that there's a lot for them to learn. She says, I write exactly like that man. Now, it immediately made sense. The dogs are barking plenty in the background. Now, it immediately made sense why I was giving a lot of research assignments. Immediately after I submitted my Emix file, is that they were really impressed with my work. God was so faithful that they were very, very impressed with my work. That made sense why they kept just giving me research assignments with tight deadlines. It's as though, looking back now, right now, because those deadlines were so tight, it was as though all the research assignments that somebody else has done, or they were just forwarding it to me. They were just giving it to me and say, submit it, please. Those deadlines were just way too tight. 24 hours for 12 hours, 6 hours. I understood why they were giving this to me. Then I remember I had a call with Adam, and the dogs are still barking in the background. You guys are just gonna have to bear with it. I remember I had a call with Adam, and Adam personally, he let me know how very impressed he was with my work on the Emix file. He let me know how very impressed he was with the work I've done so far. A lot of glowing words up and down. He had me send a message to the principal partners and everybody else in the firm, every lead, lawyers, all these, all supervisors and the rest. He had me send them a mail. He dictated a mail for me. I should send everybody a mail telling them that he's proud, incredibly happy with my work, I should CC all these people. I did that and I sent the mail out. So my job at Rose Law Firm was going well. God was faithful. I seemed to be doing quite all right, at least from what everybody was saying. I seemed to be doing quite all right, and I was. It was a fun time. I learned a lot. I got exposed to how, once again, how technology can be used to run a law firm remotely, how technology can be used to ease the work of lawyers. I got exposed to a lot of legal AI tools, and a lot of my ideas, a lot of ideas that I had, I got to test them out, and I got to see them work. I got to see them move things. It was a very, very brilliant place. Now, all this time that I was at Rose Law Firm, they were paying me, I had not touched 1 naira. I had not touched 1 naira from the money they were paying me. Remember, they were paying me on Upwork. I was just leaving the money to accumulate on Upwork. I had not touched 1 naira. I didn't touch. I was just happy to put my ideas into practice and to see life. I didn't touch 1 naira. I was eating Gary and sugar steady. I didn't touch 1 naira. Gary and sugar was my landlady came around that time and she was laughing at me saying she'll bring Gary. She still teases me that she'll bring Gary when she's coming. I was eating Gary and sugar steady. I don't touch 1 naira. And last year came and went, and January 2026, at around this time, at around the 15th or 16th or so, at around sometime around this time, and when you are doing, because Rose Law Firm was paying us our money through Upwork kept recommending me to other law firms, and I kept seeing other jobs that I became a rising star. Upwork, I became a rising star. I was getting all these badges that I was just hearing. I became a rising star. Upwork was giving me their badges, and opportunities for other work started coming. I mean, I had plans that towards by the middle of this year I'll perhaps have like 3-4 remote jobs I'm doing for different US-based law firm, because Upwork the future looked dazzling bright. It looked really, really dazzling bright. That is not apart from Rose. This is not just apart from the opportunity from Rose. The potential, it's just looked dazzling bright. So on January at about this time, on the 3rd week of January, at the ending of the 2nd week, I had received a message that I was being appointed from Rose Law Firm, that I was being appointed the leader of the firm's technology acquisition team. Software enablement and technology acquisition team. Yes, that was it. I was being appointed team lead. Remember, there are people in this firm that have been there for years. I was being appointed team lead. I had a meeting with Fatima. Fatima was telling me my contributions, my leadership quality. She just said a lot of good things that, honestly, I'm very grateful God took me to that. God has brought to a level where people can say these things to me. So she said it, and then she sent the mandate and the email containing the powers and the mandate, and she told me if I have any question, I should reach out. I saw that thing, and first of all, I was again very anxious because this one I had to go and sleep. I saw the mail. I went through it. Once I got off the clock, I just went and slept because it's not something. It just seemed too complicated at that point in time. I was to have people under me. I was to be setting paid hours. I had a couple of paid hours to play with. I was to be giving people paid hours. I was to be. Then they said I saw another thing that I was not to spend firm's account without permission from Adam and spend. But remember, I just said how much the firm was spending. It was as though they were going to give me access to the bank account of the. I was not. It was crazy. It was crazy. This thing was very. It was very overwhelming at that point in time. But I was like, God, thank you. I wrote back a mail accepting the position and doing everything else. Then that same week, while I was having a meeting with Anne-Marie from Ghana, she's a lawyer from Ghana, wonderful Anne-Marie. While I was having a meeting with Anne-Marie from Ghana, and learned from her that out of all the lawyers from all around the world that were hired at the same time I was hired, I was the valedictorian of the set. I was the valedictorian, meaning I was the best in the training assignment and everything. They were giving the task to me, and Amara was like, yeah, you should be able to do this, because she heard that I was the valedictorian. Remember, I didn't know that I was out of everybody that was hired at the same time I was hired. I didn't know I was the best. I didn't know I was the valedictorian. I didn't know I was anything. She just said I was the valedictorian of the entire group, of the entire set. So I was quite happy. Honestly, I was very happy that in one small God has taken me to a position where I stood out then. That all this happened in a week. My promotion as team lead, technology acquisition and software enablement. Learning that I was valedictorian myself. All this happened in a week. The next week, by Thursday, Upwork banned my accounts. For no reason. I remember I was coming back from work, I received a mail from Upwork saying there's been some unusual activities in my account, and so for my security, because Upwork cares, the mail said because Upwork cares about my security, they were going to put my account on hold temporarily until they hear from me. Remember, they did this for my security and my safety because they noticed unusual activities. I was like, oh my God, somebody wants to ban my account. Somebody wants to hack my account. I reached out to them into email that are confirming my identity. Next email I received was that your account has been permanently suspended. How do you go from you've noticed unusual activities on my account, and because you care about my security, you are going to put my account temporarily on hold until you hear from me? Then when you then hear from me using my email, you permanently suspend the account and permanently ban me from the platform. I didn't believe. First of all, I was like, this is obviously a joke, it's obviously a glitch. So I really didn't take it serious until it became serious. They permanently banned me. I remember I had not taken $1. Apart from this, I had other clients on Upwork. I had other clients, international clients, Trinidad, and I was working